Hello, this is Dr. Kent Gregory again, and we'll pick up with part two of chapter one, the introduction to law. And as mentioned, we'll pick up with state constitution. So each state has its own constitution, and they serve essentially the same function for the state government as the U.S. Constitution does for the federal government. State laws differ from each other, as I'm sure you know, but they do not conflict and cannot conflict with federal laws. So then that brings us to a discussion of federalism. So this is a system in which power is divided between two or more forms of government. And essentially that's what we have. So government structure whereby the federal government and the state governments coexist through a shared power scheme. And as we know, I mean, there exists, for lack of a better word, tension between the between the national government, the federal government, and state governments. And we saw the most explosive expression of that during the American Civil War. The legislative branch. So this refers to statutory law. So the law is created by legislative bodies. Uh, uh, Bicameral. This means this is a term used to describe a legislature in which two bodies exist, such as the U.S. Congress, where you have the Senate and the House of Representatives. And each state has its own legislature. The sources of law. So there's common law, which is judge-made law. So this is a feature of most countries previously colonized by Great Britain. So interestingly enough, the colonial government of Great Britain still in ways affects us today. Civil law. This is a system of law in which only the legislature creates the law. The jurisdiction is an area where power may be exercised, and it's followed in Europe, where judges do not have the power to create law through interpretation. And then there's uh, the the principle stare decisis, which is how it's pronounced in legal Latin. Classical Latin is stare decisis. So it pains me as a classical scholar to actually say stare decisis, uh, but there you have it. So this is the principle that courts should follow precedent. And it essentially means, and this is a poor translation, but let what has already been decided stand. And precedent. This is the existing interpretation of law based on prior decisions. So our key takeaway is that the legal system of the United States is composed of multiple jurisdictions at local, state, and federal level, and they're all under essentially federal jurisdiction. Local and state laws can't conflict with the federal laws, and the primary sources of laws in the United States are constitutional law, statutory law, common law, and administrative law. So we have four primary sources in the United States. Rule of law. The rule of law is a system of laws under which the people and the government are bound. It legitimizes the law and it establishes authority, creates expectations for behavior, and establishes redress of grievances and penalties for deviance from the law. A lot of this is based on the English Bill of Rights in 1689, which contains the basis of many concepts contained in our United States Constitution. And among that it includes the rights of the people to limit the sovereign. And remember, our concept of the sovereign can include, well, I mean, for our purposes, it doesn't include a king or a queen, but it's the sovereign government. More on the rule of law. As the book states, attainment of peace relies on the establishment of a hierarchical authority structure. So one of the first expressions of this we see in the Code of Hammurabi. Hammurabi was a Babylonian king, and this is the oldest record of seemingly complete rule of law system. And this is something that I've asked you all to take a look at and compare it to what our laws state today, either in specifics or in terms of philosophy. And another one that I wanted you to look at, which comes after the Code of Hammurabi, are the 12 tables. So we'll do it in Roman numbers, the 12 tables of ancient Rome. And the 12 tables were posted on bronze tables in the forum of every Roman city so that everyone could see what the laws were and by extension what their rights were. And the 12 tables were first formulated in about 450 BCE. And then we have the Magna Carta of 1215, contains the basis for many legal principles recognized in the U.S. Constitution, including due process and habeas corpus. Um, so the rule of law in the United States, to sum up, is composed of many sources: constitutional law, statutory law, rules and regulations set out by administrative agencies, federal common law, and then treaties. And then their state governments and organizational structures of government are set out in the rule of law systems. So here are our key takeaway. The rule of law is a system of published laws under which the people and the government are bound, which allows predictability and restraint of government action. A rule of law system also allows people to understand what is expected of them. And it provides a system that allows many people with different beliefs and cultures to live together in peace by providing methods by which conflicts can be resolved. So that's something that's what we'll end part 2 with, and we'll pick up with part 3 next.